So, if you guys know me, then you almost certainly know that one of my favorite things ever is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's likely my favorite manga/anime series ever. I really, really like it. And as a fan of JoJo, and this really even applies to any topic, not just JoJo, if there's one thing that really annoys me, it's people who pretend to know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or anything really, but they don't know anything about it. And so, today, we are looking at CBR. You guys might have seen X-Force do this. He looked at a few articles. I saw the video and I thought, hey, that's really great. So I picked two different articles than the ones that he did. And we're just going to look at them. And we're going to be like, hey, that's kind of stupid. So, the first one is JoJo, the 10 worst things Bruno ever did, ranked. So Bruno from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a flamboyant leader, but what are his worst acts? From lying to his friends to dismembering Pesci, we rank them. Okay, so number 10 is almost killing Giovanna. I mean, you can't really blame him when he didn't know what Giorno's motivations were. Like, he didn't know what Giorno wanted, and Giorno didn't know what he wanted. Technically, you could say one of the worst things Giorno ever did was almost kill Bucciarati, but it's like, Bruno was working for the gang, and Giovanna was like a nobody, and so, excuse me, yeah, he went after him, but like, then they're fine. So that, I wouldn't say that's one of the worst things that he ever did. And then abandoning his mother after his parents' divorce. Oh my god, did you not watch part 5? Like, the whole thing was, he was talking about, he's a smart kid. He knew that his mother would be fine by herself, but that his dad would need some more support, so he stayed with his dad in order to give him more support. That was a good thing that he did. It's not that he abandoned his mother, it's that he knew that his dad was gonna be destroyed without him. So, that doesn't make even a little sense. Brutally murdering the gangsters who tried to kill his father. I mean, kinda. I can see how that it would be bad, but it's like, they tried to kill his dad once, and then they came in to try and kill him again. You'd be mad too. Come on. Especially after your mom left, he was the only, like, and your dad was the only one left with you. Like, I totally understand where Bruno is coming from. And then allowing his team to torture Mario Zucchero. I mean, not really. I mean, the torture dance is a bit of a goof. I know it's like an actual torture thing that they did, but also Mario almost took out his entire team. So I would be upset if they didn't do something to him. So, yeah. And honestly, he kind of got off fairly easy, just like burning his eye. It's like, that was like one of the lightest things that they probably could have done. They could have done so much worse. And then getting Prosciutto run over by a train. After all of the things Prosciutto did, like, he like killed all the innocent people on the train, and also shot 3 bullets into Mista's head. Like, how would you not do that? And it's not even like he just like wanted to like save himself, really. And so like he got rid of Prosciutto so that he could do that, because it was him and Prosciutto on Pesci's line, and so he saved himself. I guess there was like some, like, he wanted to get rid of him, but that's also because they're pursuing him. And then dismembering Pesci and throwing his pieces into the river. After Pesci, like, almost killed Bruno by making him split up himself, and, like, his heart stopped beating, and, like, he almost died there. And then, at the end, he had Coco Jumbo, the turtle, and he was about to smash it and kill all of the people in there. Like, I don't blame Bruno in the slightest for dismembering Pesci. Plus we get Arrivederci, and I think that's pretty great. So, letting Trish get abducted. Okay, so he's talking about Diavolo. When Diavolo takes Trish. Okay, the whole thing with that was that he didn't know that the boss was trying to kill her. That's why it was a big twist. It's because he thought he was just bringing Trish to the boss so that he could protect her or whatever, because members of the assassination squad were trying to catch her in order to track down the boss. So he didn't think that she was gonna get killed. So how is that the fourth worst thing that Bruno ever did? Oh, Bruno, you should have known that the boss is evil and he was gonna kill his own daughter. Like, what? How can you blame Bucciarati for that? And then abandoning Fugo? He didn't abandon Fugo. He asked if everyone, he asked who wanted to come with him. And Fugo decided, I'm not gonna come with you. I'm gonna stay by myself. And that was that. He respects Fugo, so we let him go off by himself. It's not like it was just like, you guys come with me, Fugo, fuck you, you stay here. It's like everyone decided for themselves whether they want to go. Fugo said, I don't want to go, and so he didn't. That's not something that Bruno did. And then proceeding to work for Passione even after learning about the drug trade. How can you say this? His whole thing was that he kept working for Passione so that he could eventually take it down. He wanted to gain a position of power and become a capo so that he could eventually go and kill the boss. That was the whole thing. And with Giorno, he ended up actually being able to do that. That was the whole thing. Is they duked it out. And then Giorno was like, I want to do the thing, and Bruno was like, oh, I want to do this thing too. And then with Giorno, they were finally able to like get stuff going, get the ball rolling. They were able to start doing stuff. So I don't know how you could possibly say that was a bad thing he did. And then giving everyone false hope after his death. After Bucciarati became an undead, he should have ideally told his gang members the whole truth instead of making them cling to a lie. I mean, sure, but like, how would they have benefited by telling them? It's like, it wouldn't have helped anything to say that. It's like, he's still technically alive. Like, just saying, I guess I'm technically dead. So if I just like go one day, then it's fine. It's like, they'd still be sad. They'd still cry. Like, that wouldn't help anything. So that's not the number one worst thing he ever did. It's like, there are things on here that are worse than what he did, but like, this is like, no. Alright, so that's the first article down. Real stupid. Also, ads, get out of here, please. No ads in my music. I hate that. I hate you. Anyway, so that's that article, and some of you are already getting triggered at this title. 10 Araki forgot moments from JoJo that left fans fuming. Okay. I think we all know at this point, or at least most of us, the sane ones, know that the Araki forgot thing is fucking dumb. But why don't we just go through this anyway? Alright. So number 10, Giorno's ability to give too much life is forgotten after one battle. No. Not really. Because, so yeah, he used it in the fight with Bruno. And after that, there's either no attempt to like be able to use that move, because you have to hit the user. It doesn't work on stands. So like, that wouldn't have worked on Black Sabbath, that wouldn't have worked on Babyface, that wouldn't have worked on what was the other one I was thinking of? It wouldn't have worked on White Album because it's a suit of armor on top of Ghiaccio. Like, it wouldn't have worked on most of them. And then all of the other ones where he does hit the user, the fight ends right after that. So who's to say that that didn't happen? Just they did that and then they were immediately defeated. And then what happened to the damage reflection ability of Gold Experience Requiem? Kind of the same thing, but a little more. It's like there wasn't a ton of opportunity to use that because many of the stands had abilities that would go around that. Like, definitely wouldn't work with Black Sabbath because it's a long range stand, it doesn't affect the user, and Popo wasn't there. Same thing with Babyface, and like there weren't many opportunities to do it. Like with White Album, it was too cold for him to create the life, so he wouldn't have really been able to do that. and then Jonah was pierced by the Requiem arrow before, but nothing happened. This is the Black Sabbath thing. Okay, so getting a Requiem stand is from continuous exposure with the arrow. So, like, it has to be continuous. It can't just be like, oh, I get poked and now I have Requiem. It's like, because in the Black Sabbath fight, he just got poked a few times. Maybe he got stabbed in the arm, I don't know. But it was immediately pulled out because it was attached to Black Sabbath. So it wouldn't have been on him long enough for that to count as gaining a Requiem stand. So, no. When he gets a Requiem stand, he is touching it for a long time. Like with Silver Chariot, it initially touched the Requiem arrow and it started transforming, but Polnareff was able to take it away fast enough, and so it wasn't a continued exposure, and Silver Chariot reverted to its normal state. So, this is just completely wrong. Can all stands phase through people or not? Okay. The thing with Diver Down is people think that like it doesn't have an ability, because its ability is to phase through things. When having to do with objects, first of all, the thing with Diver Down is that it can phase objects through other objects. So, like Star Platinum is a big example. It can phase through stuff, but if you think back to the Steely Dan fight, when he had him steal the bracelet, he had to find an opening to pull the bracelet through. He couldn't just pull the bracelet through the glass. And then, with Diver Down, it can also like become a part of people. It's not just like, oh, it's in this person. And also, it's phasing into other people. Not like you can always phase your own thing through yourself. But it's about phasing through other people. And you might say, oh, Star Platinum was able to start up Joseph's heart at the end of Star Wars Crusaders. Well, technically, at the end of Star Wars Crusaders, Joseph was not alive. Therefore, not a person. He's kind of just an object. And stands can phase through objects. So he could phase through there, and then he pulled his arm out before he came back to life. So that kind of makes sense. So yes, Diver Down does have an ability. It's just a little more complex than you might have thought. JoJo's stashing tons of things in his cell, even though Star Platinum is a close range stand. Okay. Close range stands means that they're most effective at a close range. It says at some point, there's like explanation for stands, I forget where, but it's like the whole thing is their power decreases the farther range you go out. That doesn't mean that they can't go out that far. It just means that they're less powerful. Close range just means they're most effective at a close range. The range is just where they're most effective. So he can still go out and grab things because that doesn't require a lot of power. That's really it. It's just apparently stands don't weaken if a user has trouble breathing after all. So it's talking about the battle against Abdul and Magician's Red, where he gets strangled by Red Bind and it weakens Star Platinum. Two things going on there. Number one, JoJo had like just awakened his stand, really, like just like fully gotten it out or whatever. So like he wasn't able to control it very well. So yes, this would kind of happen. But also, the fact that he wasn't prepared for the Red Bind, so he didn't have time to like hold his breath or whatever. So he was like really struggling. And this doesn't say it, but it's probably talking about the Dark Blue Moon fight where he goes underwater and is able to use Star Platinum freely. The whole thing was he knew he was going into the water, so he had time to hold his breath. And there was the whole thing where he went limp during the whirlpool thing in order to conserve his strength, so he was still able to use Star Platinum because he still had like some breath in there. Kakyoin never used Green's ability to mind control people after using it once. I think this comes from confusion over the fact that people think that it's really mind control. I don't think he ever actually mind controlled anyone. There's the nurse, but I don't think that's mind control. I think what that was he took over her body parts and made her do stuff. But I don't think he really ever controlled her mind. Because during the fight, at least in the anime, you can see her saying stuff about like like, people are like, why you, there were like the two kids in there, and they're like, why are you swinging this pen around? And she's like, what are you talking about? It's not a pen, this is the thermometer. So I don't think that was just like her being like psychotic. I think that was like her genuinely being like, no, I could have sworn I picked up the thermometer, but Hierophant Green was controlling her body and making it be like, yeah, I'm gonna pick up the pen, and maybe went into her brain and controlled some of that so that she couldn't see what she was really doing, or whatever, or she didn't recognize that that was the pen and not the thermometer. Because he can do that. He can like go into people's brain. They did that in the lovers fight. So I don't really know what you mean where like it went away, because he never really mind controlled anyone, and he does use it again. And then what happened to the painting power? I got tripped up by this one at first, but I can succinctly say that, is succinctly the right word? Whatever. I can definitively say that there is no painting power either. It's like the mind control thing. There was no real mind control. And it's like the puppet too. Like, when he does the painting, he just has Hierophant Green go up and cut Jotaro's leg. It's like, at the end of it, he destroys the painting. Wouldn't that destroy Jotaro? He's not using the power. And during the scene, it just shows the stand as invisible. Like, we see that again during the Dark Blue Moon fight, I think. Like, right before Dark Blue Moon shows up, Jotaro punches a shark, and we see Star Platinum as invisible. We just see the punches. So sometimes they show the stand as invisible, and that's what happened during this. It's not that he had a painting power. Alright, and then Straizo's heel turn is somewhat weird. What? Straizo's motives to become a vampire. Oh, no. Because Straizo learned Hamon in order to try and gain youth. Whatever. He wanted to be young. And he talked about when he fought Dio, he admired him secretly, and he wanted to go get the mask. Because, like, during the fight, he doesn't do that much, honestly. Like, in Phantom Blood. Like, against Dio. He doesn't really do that much. So it kind of makes sense why he would be like, I don't want to be a vampire. And eventually, Lisa or Elizabeth Joestar tells us about the fact that he kind of went crazy because he raised Lisa. And, like, he went crazy and, like, seeked out all these different methods to try and gain youth. So, I don't really know what would have happened there to be like, oh, what, like, why would he do that? It's like, it kind of makes sense. And then finding Kira should not have been hard at all. Okay, so this is talking about, so, given the fact that Joseph was an ailing elder at this point, it's understandable as to why no one relied on his powers to find the serial killer. Okay, so they're like, okay, it makes sense why they didn't use Hermit Purple. But there's another person whose abilities could have been used to track Kira. We're talking about Yuya. No. Not even a little bit. Because it works on smell, right? So we would have to smell something of Kira's in order to track the smell, right? But what would they have had of Kira's? They didn't know who he had switched into. So they couldn't find something of his to smell. So how would he be able to track a smell that he doesn't have? It's like, that doesn't make even a little sense. So that's why they had to go with the roundabout route, going around the other way, trying to find him. So it really makes plenty of sense. I don't know why that's so confusing. But anyway, that's it. That's the last article. So I don't know. I just think those are goofy articles. They don't make a ton of sense. So I don't know what the whole deal with it was. Especially Rocky Forgot. The Rocky Forgot stuff. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's funny. You can definitely tell when it's a goof. But a lot of times it is not a goof and it gets really annoying. So I don't know. Tell me some of your thoughts on that. I'd love to see if you have any counter arguments or any arguments on either side, really, honestly. I just want to hear what your feedback is. But yeah, that's it. If you want me to do something like this again, I'll totally do that. I'll do whatever. I'll read more articles. I'll do more JoJo stuff. There's plenty of JoJo on this channel. There could always be more. There could always be less too, but we don't talk about that. Whatever. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, you can hit that big old like button because it tells me whether or not you like the video. So do it. you can also feel free to check out, I'll leave both articles in the description so you can look at them. I kind of just like scrolled through them and was like, nah, that's stupid. So you can look at them in their entirety if you want to. You can also feel free to check them out on Twitter and Instagram. It's always in the description. They're literally always down there. Just go check them out. I don't know what you're doing. You can feel free to leave comments, like I said, leave feedback, whatever. Maybe some of your arguments down there. I'd love to hear it. Whatever you got, throw it at me. But also, you can click right over here to go see my most recent video. You can go click right over here to go see some video I'll put there. I don't know. You can go click right here to go subscribe. But anyways, thank you guys once again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. That means bye in weirdo sign language.